Before the nightmares, there was a man. His name was Fred Krueger. He lived in a quiet little town called Springwood. It was a nice place, a place with green lawns and white picket fences. But Mr. Krueger was not nice at all. He worked as a janitor at the local power plant in a dark, grimy boiler room. But that wasn't his real job. Oh no, his real job was something much, much worse. He had a secret. A terrible secret that would make your skin crawl and your blood run cold. He was the Springwood Slasher, a monster who hurt the town's children. Parents would whisper his name in hushed, frightened tones. Children would look over their shoulders when they walked home from school. The happy little town of Springwood was living in fear. Everyone knew who was responsible for the terrible things happening, but they needed proof. The police finally caught him. They locked him away, and the parents of Springwood breathed a sigh of relief. They thought the nightmare was over. They thought their children were finally safe from the evil man who lived in the shadows and haunted their waking hours. But they were wrong, so terribly wrong. The trial was supposed to bring justice. It was supposed to lock the monster away forever. But something went wrong. A mistake was made. A search warrant was not signed in the right place, a tiny little error on a piece of paper. Because of this technicality, this small mistake, the judge had to let him go. Fred Krueger, the man who had brought so much pain and terror to their town, was set free. He walked out of the courthouse a free man, laughing as he went. The parents watched in horror, their hope turning to cold, hard anger. The system had failed them. They felt a chill run down their spines. The man who had hurt their children was now walking the same streets as them. He could be anywhere. He could be watching from the windows of his dirty boiler room. The parents knew they couldn't let him get away with it. They couldn't live in a world where he was free. They decided that if the law wouldn't punish him, they would have to do it themselves. They made a plan. A dark and terrible plan born from their grief and their rage. A plan that would change their town and their lives forever.
The parents of Elm Street gathered together one dark and moonless night. They were no longer just neighbors. They were a mob. Their hearts pounded with a mixture of fear and determination. They grabbed gasoline cans and torches, their faces grim in the flickering light. They marched down the quiet streets, their footsteps echoing like a drumbeat of doom. Their destination was the power plant, the place where the monster hid. They were going to his lair, his dark and grimy boiler room. They were going to make sure Fred Krueger never hurt another child ever again. They cornered him in the place he called home, among the loud, hissing pipes in the deep, dark shadows of the boiler room. Fred Krueger was trapped. He saw the angry faces of the parents, their eyes burning with hatred. He could smell the gasoline they splashed everywhere, on the walls, on the floor, on him. He probably begged for his life, but they didn't listen. They had seen what he was capable of. They had seen the evil in his eyes. Their minds were made up. There would be no escape for him this time, no legal tricks, no last-minute rescue. With a final, chilling scream from the crowd, a torch was thrown. The boiler room exploded into a tower of fire. The flames licked at the walls, turning everything to ash. The parents stood outside, watching the building burn, listening to the screams from within. They thought they were ending the nightmare. They believed they were bringing justice to their broken town. They thought that by burning the man, they could burn away the fear and the pain he had caused. They were creating a legend, but they didn't know it yet. They had made a terrible mistake. The fire burned hot and long, leaving nothing but smoking ruins. The parents went home, their hands smelling of gasoline and smoke. They told themselves it was over. Fred Krueger was gone, turned to dust and ashes. They swore each other to secrecy, burying the memory of what they did deep inside. But you can't kill true evil. You can't just burn it away. It waits, it festers. And sometimes, when you think it's gone for good, it finds a way to come back. Stronger, angrier, and ready for revenge. As the last embers of the fire died out, something happened, something unnatural. As Fred Krueger's body burned, his soul lingered between worlds. It was in that moment of pure agony and hatred that they came for him. 3 ancient beings, 3 sinister dream demons. They looked like floating skeletal creatures, and they offered him a deal. They saw the evil in his soul, the terror he had created, and they wanted to use it. They whispered promises of power, of a life after death. They offered him the chance to continue his terrible work. Freddy, his spirit screaming in the void, made the pact. He gave them his soul, and in return, they gave him a new life. Not in the real world, but in the world of dreams. He would become a master of nightmares, a king in a kingdom of fear. He would be reborn not of flesh and blood but of terror and memory. The dream demons twisted his burned soul into something new, something even more monstrous than before. He was no longer just a man, he was an idea, a nightmare that could never truly be destroyed as long as people remembered him. He came back, but he was not the same. His skin was a roadmap of fire, melted and scarred, a gruesome reminder of the parents' revenge. He wore the same dirty red and green striped sweater he always had, now tattered and scorched. On his head he placed his old brown fedora, hiding his burned face in its shadow, and on his right hand he wore his most terrifying creation, a leather glove but with long, sharp steel blades attached to the fingers, razors that glinted in the dark, knives to slice and dice. He was ready. This new Freddy was a master of the dream world. He could twist reality inside a person's mind. He could turn a happy dream into a carnival of horrors with a snap of his bladed fingers. The teenagers of Elm Street, the children of the parents who had burned him, were his new targets. He would stalk them in the one place they thought they were safe. He would hunt them in their sleep. Their parents had taken his life in the real world, so he would take their children's lives in the dream world. An eye for an eye, a scream for a scream. The rules of the game had changed. This was Freddy's world now, and he made all the rules. When the teenagers of Elm Street fell asleep, they entered his domain. He could be anything, anyone, anywhere. He could be a shadow stretching on the wall. He could be a voice whispering from the television. He could pull you through your own bed into a world of rusty pipes and hissing steam. The more you fought, the more fun he had. Your fear was like food to him. It made him stronger. It made his blades sharper. Here's the most terrifying part. Are you ready? If Freddy catches you in your dream, if he cuts you with those horrible claws, you don't wake up. Whatever he does to you in the nightmare happens for real. If he slices your chest in a dream, you die in your bed with cuts on your chest. Your parents will find you in the morning and they won't understand. They'll think it was a terrible accident, but you'll know. And Freddy will just get stronger, feeding on the fear that spreads through the town like a disease. The teenagers tried everything to stay awake. They drank gallons of coffee, they splashed cold water on their faces, they blasted loud music, but you can't stay awake forever. Sooner or later your eyes get heavy, your head starts to nod, and the moment you drift off even for a second he is there, waiting for you. He loves the chase, he loves the terror in your eyes when you realize there is no escape. Sleep is not a refuge, it is his hunting ground, it is his playground. So remember this story the next time you turn off the lights. Remember it when you pull the covers up to your chin. There is no safe place, not in your school, not in your house, not even in your own mind, because once you fall asleep, you belong to him. He is the monster under your bed. He is the shadow in your closet. He is the man of your dreams, and he's dying to meet you. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Sweet dreams.